If you're looking in the Dallas market under 300,000, you're probably seeing builders like Lennar, D.R. Horton, Impressions, Starlight, Meritage, and yeah, you'll see HistoryMaker. But probably what you want to know is among these lower tier builders, where does HistoryMaker stand? Well, this is going to be the most in-depth look you are going to find anywhere on HistoryMaker Homes. So let's dig in, asking the hard questions right off the bat. Okay, you ready? Is this even a builder you can trust? Going all the way back to 1949, HistoryMaker Homes has been doing one thing and doing it well, okay? Building homes in Texas. They are not a national giant trying to dominate every state, okay? Instead, they've chosen to focus exclusively on DFW, Houston, and San Antonio. So that kind of local focus limits how deep their pockets are going to be, but it can also be a good thing because it means they know the Texas market, right? The soil, the weather, down to like the quirks of each city's permitting process. Now, in terms of size, they're not some tiny boutique builder, all right? They place number 72 on the Builder 100 list, and that puts them in like a solid mid-tier position. They're big enough to have some good systems, warranties, and financial stability. They have around 947 closings a year and around 347 million in annual revenue. So nothing to sneeze at there. Now, I always like to ask 3 questions when I'm evaluating a builder. All right, first off, how likely are they to be around in 5 years? Well, given their track record, over 75 years in business, the odds look pretty good. Most builders don't make it that long unless they've figured out how to survive things like market swings and rate spikes. HistoryMaker has done all of that and stayed consistent. What about recourse if something goes wrong? Well, because of their size and tenure, you're not dealing with a fly-by-night operation, all right? They have established warranty programs and local offices, so if you ever do need support, you're not chasing down someone who disappeared after closing. Now, for how financially well-backed they are, all right, 7+ decades of history speaks volumes. So overall, I would give them a grade of an A- in this category, okay? They've got a long history and solid production numbers. If you were driving down the street in a HistoryMaker neighborhood, you'd probably notice a nice mix of homes that look clean and classic, all right? Nothing over the top, but not necessarily cookie cutter either. One of their single story plans, for example, has a clean modern design with a mix of brick and stone on the exterior, a simple gable roof line, and a sleek front door with horizontal glass panels. Then you've got a 2-story plan with a covered front porch, a series of gabled roof lines, and large rectangular windows. Their townhome design goes a little more classic with gabled roof lines, a central arched entryway, and evenly spaced windows. Another 2-story model takes on a different style with half timber detailing, a mix of brick and stone, and a covered front porch. There's also a 2-story plan with wood columns supporting a front porch, a front-facing gable with a decorative truss, and large rectangular windows. And finally, one of their more classic options features 3 front arches across the porch, a simple gabled roof line, and a wide 2-car garage. You'll notice as you go through their neighborhoods that they've got a pretty good mix of 1- and 2-story floor plans. So there's something for everyone depending on lifestyle and budget. You should know 2-car garages are standard in most plans, though you will have some models who offer the option for a 3rd garage bay. All right, well, let's take a look inside a model home so you can actually see how these designs come together in real life. Overall, HistoryMaker Homes offers a decent variety when it comes to elevations and exterior designs. Like some lean a little more modern, others have like that cozy cottage or ranch feel. Nothing that will absolutely blow you away, okay? But nothing that feels super dated either. So here I would give them a grade of a B. When you build a home from the ground up with HistoryMaker Homes, one of the first things you'll notice is that you actually get a decent number of options. The process starts with selecting your floor plan, of course, because that's where we're always going to start when we're doing our new builds. On their website, floor plans are organized by community, and depending on where you're building, you'll find anywhere from like 7 to 19 different floor plans to choose from. Among their offerings, there's a good spread. Like you will see single-story and two-story homes, smaller and larger square footage, 3 to 5 bedroom layouts, and even options for 2 or 3 car garages. The architectural styles vary too, okay, from traditional to slightly more modern looks. But if you start comparing a few of them side by side, you're going to notice some recurring themes like similar roof lines, window placements, and porch layouts. In communities with more floor plan choices, you'll see, noticeably more variation, homes that differ in size, layout, roof style, and how they use their lot space. But in smaller communities with fewer options, there is definitely more repetition. So many homes end up sharing a lot of the same features. Now, when it comes to structural customization, our next step, once you've decided on a floor plan, HistoryMaker gives you a few levels of flexibility. On the minor side, you can add things like a fireplace, extra doors, a window seat, an archway, built-in cabinetry, a larger vanity, or even a garden tub or oversized shower. These don't change the framing of the home, but they still make a big difference. For moderate structural options, you can make adjustments like converting a flex room into a bedroom, turning a hall bath into an ensuite, creating a second primary suite by combining spaces, or expanding your patio with a covered option. So here we're talking about modifying the interior framing, but not the exterior walls. If you're looking for something significant, you can go for an added third car garage bay or even a half garage bay. But when it comes to supreme structural changes like bringing in your own floor plan or working with an in-house architect to custom modify one of theirs, that is not an option, all right? HistoryMaker keeps their plans within a very set framework. Now, as for design customization, right, the non-structural side of things, their website doesn't show a list of specific finishes or upgrades. However, they do mention a design studio appointment with a consultant as part of their buying journey. So that's where you're going to choose things like features and finishes and cabinets and floors. The typical selections you'd expect, right, in a standard builder design process. Now, the downside is that their site doesn't include an idea gallery or inspiration photos. So it's hard to visualize those design options ahead of time unless you visit a model home. When it comes to lot sizes, some community pages show what's available along with which floor plans fit on each lot. Most of the time, you're going to be looking at 50 or 60 foot wide lots, which is standard for this type of builder. Overall, HistoryMaker Homes offers a solid amount of customization, and it's nice that they make many of those options visible right on the floor plans online. The one drawback is that their website lacks interior design details and inspiration photos beyond the standard floor plan images. So for that reason, this section, I would give them a grade of a B-. When it comes to warranties, HistoryMaker Homes sticks to a pretty familiar formula, okay? Nothing flashy, but it covers the key areas most buyers care about. The main thing to look at with any builder warranty, okay, is how long each type lasts and whether it's handled in-house or by a third party. HistoryMaker offers the standard 1-2-10 warranty structure that's pretty common across the industry. You get 1 year of coverage on craftsmanship, okay, just gonna include things like drywall, trim work, and finishes, so basically the visible parts of your home that you interact with every day. Then there's a 2-year systems warranty, which takes care of the major mechanical systems like plumbing, electrical, and HVAC. And then finally, there's the 10-year structural warranty. And that's the big one, all right? It covers things like load-bearing walls, beams, framing, okay? It's designed to protect you from your expensive problems like foundation repairs. All of this is serviced through Structure Home Warranty, which is a third-party provider. So that means if you ever need to file a claim, okay, you're working directly with Structure instead of HistoryMaker. So overall, this is a pretty standard warranty package for a production builder. The 1-year craftsmanship, the 2-year systems, and the 10-year structural coverage. hits all the expected marks, okay? It's reliable, straightforward, and it gives you peace of mind without any surprises. So I would give this a grade of a B. When it comes to where you can buy a HistoryMaker home, they give you a surprisingly good amount of flexibility. If you fall in love with one of their floor plans, like say a layout that perfectly fits your family, your budget, and your wish list, there's a pretty solid chance you'll find that same plan available in multiple communities across the Metroplex. So that makes a big difference because it means you're not looking into one specific neighborhood just to get the house you want. In the DFW area alone, HistoryMaker has 22 active communities, which is a strong showing for a regional builder. That's enough variety that you can usually find something that fits your commute, your school district preferences, or just the overall vibe you're going for. So whether that's like a smaller town feel or something closer to the city. They're spread out across roughly 18 different cities in the area, which gives you a lot of coverage. You'll find them in places like Salina, Cleburne, Forney, Heartland, Red Oak, and Waxahachie, just to name a few. Each of those areas has its own personality. Like Salina, for example, is growing fast with new schools and master planned communities. Then Cleburne, of course, has a much quieter, small town pace. Geographically, they've got a pretty even spread across the Metroplex. There are about 6 communities to the west, 4 to the south, 5 to the east, and 6 to the north. So no matter which side of DFW you're drawn to, there's likely a HistoryMaker neighborhood within reasonable driving distance. Overall, their footprint around DFW feels well thought out, okay, not too concentrated in one area, but not so scattered that it's hard to find consistency in what they offer. It's a builder that gives you real choice in both floor plan and location, which isn't always the case with our regional builders. So here, I would give them a grade of an A+. So we know how many locations HistoryMaker Homes has around the DFW area, but let's talk about volume. How many actual homes are available right now? Because having a lot of communities is great, but if there aren't many homes to choose from, that flexibility doesn't really help much. At the moment, HistoryMaker has 175 quick move-in homes listed on their website. So that's gonna give you a decent range of inventory if you're looking to move sooner rather than later. Now this is important because sometimes you will find a floor plan you love, but it's sitting in a community that doesn't quite fit your lifestyle. Like maybe the location isn't ideal, or the HOA fees are higher than you'd like, or the commute's just too far. So then the question becomes, what are the odds that you'll find that same home in a different community you actually want to live in? Well, with a builder that has a decent amount of volume like HistoryMaker, the odds are a lot better. Like more inventory means more chances that your favorite floor plan exists somewhere else nearby. For a company of HistoryMaker's size, 175 quick move-ins is a decent amount of volume. Overall, this section earns them, I would say, a grade of a B-, okay? It's solid availability for a builder this size. When you look at the price range for HistoryMaker homes, they clearly sit in that low to mid-market tier, with most of their homes falling between $270,000 and just over $500,000. So that range hits the sweet spot for a lot of lower and middle income buyers. First-time home buyers, families, young professionals, okay? It's going to be a good fit there. What's nice about HistoryMaker is that they also build townhomes and smaller single-family homes, which helps make their entry-level options more accessible. Their lower-end homes, like some of their townhome products, start in that mid-200s range. So that's a reasonable starting point for new construction in today's market. Then on the higher end, you'll find larger single-family homes in more premium communities that go a bit above that $500,000 range, especially if you're adding upgrades or picking a prime lot. Looking at specific examples, their lowest priced communities right now are Heartland townhomes, which actually start in like the 240s, and then Godly Ranch, which begins in the 270s. These neighborhoods represent that more affordable side of their portfolio. On the opposite end, you've got Country Hollow, one of their more upscale communities, with homes reaching all the way into the 570s. So these typically have larger floor plans, more architectural detail, and they're gonna sit on better lots. So putting all the data together, the general price band for HistoryMaker runs from about $240,000 up to about like $570,000. Of course, depending on lot size, finishes, or upgrades, a few homes might sneak just above or below that, but overall, it's a somewhat tight $330,000 spread, which is relatively narrow compared to builders that span everything from like entry level to luxury. So that narrow pricing range means HistoryMaker is focused squarely on entry level to mid-market buyers. In terms of variety, it's a bit limited. The pricing doesn't offer much flexibility for buyers who might want to move up within that brand. So for that reason, on this particular section, I would give them a grade of a D. It's affordable, but there's just not much range beyond the middle. Now let's talk about reviews for just a minute. One of the best rated HistoryMaker homes communities right now is the Oaks, which holds a perfect 5-star rating based on 7 reviews. Now on the opposite end, their lowest rated neighborhood is Godly Ranch, sitting at 3.8 stars with 20 reviews. So right away, you can see there's definitely some variation in buyer satisfaction depending on the community. Like some people are having great experiences while others are clearly frustrated. One of the more critical reviews, a 1-star post, really stood out. The homeowner warned others not to buy from HistoryMaker, saying the house was built like a dollhouse and that they had to redo the floors multiple times within the first year. After the warranty expired, they said the builder told them it was no longer covered. They mentioned ongoing AC problems, claiming they had to call for repairs several times and even spent over $2,500 on one fix. The reviewer said they tried reaching the warranty department again, but hadn't heard back. They expressed frustration over what they saw as a lack of accountability, saying it's disheartening to invest so much in a home only to feel let down by the builder. And this isn't just a one-off complaint, okay? A number of 1-star reviews across various communities mention similar issues, specifically trouble with warranty claims and quality control. The recurring theme seems to be problems like AC units not working, things breaking early on, and homeowners struggling to get responses or resolution through the warranty process. On the flip side, their 5-star reviews paints a very different picture. Most of those highlight customer service and the closing process rather than the construction quality itself. One reviewer shared that their experience from start to finish was smooth and stress-free. They praised their sales consultant for being responsive, knowledgeable, and going above and beyond to make sure everything came together perfectly. They described the process as professional and friendly, saying they couldn't be happier with their new home and the people who helped them get it. Looking at all the reviews together, 47% are rated 4.5 stars or higher, while 53% fall at 4.4 or lower, based on 15 total communities putting in reviews. So that means feedback is almost evenly split. You know, some buyers are thrilled while others are extremely disappointed. So overall, the numbers average out to a grade, I would say, of a C+, like mixed performance with strong customer service experiences for some buyers, but recurring quality and warranty concerns for others. And just when you think you have it all figured out, that's when most buyers slip up. Because the truth is, what you don't know about your builder can cost you more than anything on paper. So before you even think about signing that contract with HistoryMaker or anyone else, okay, make sure you've seen the full picture. If you liked this breakdown, okay, we've got an entire playlist of builder reviews waiting for you right here. In the meantime, this is Wendy Pinnell, your Dallas Realtor, and I'll see you there.